something that actually makes it hard to sleep sometimes, wakes her up from nightmares, and gets her awake early, just can't go to sleep anymore. Because 4 years after she vowed, well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. It is grayish and diffuse light outside, so thumbs up for that. It's not supposed to be too hot, like early 70s. Thumbs up, that's a good thing. I mean, excessive heat is awful. It used to be September 1st, it got cold. So now it doesn't, but at least it's cooler. Yay! And I've read in the comments of some places, like where one commenter, Jesse Koskinen, lives, it has turned cold. Oh, lucky you. Hey, that's a good thing. And of course, front-loading of videos. If you like what you hear and see, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you like what you hear and see, if you could subscribe if you haven't already, that too would be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And of course, I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people literally help to keep me and my pets alive. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Without these people's help, I would be hosed like a Christmas monkey. And trust me, that is not a way that you want to be hosed. If you would like to become a patron and help me survive, I have links down in the video description. If you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, there's a PayPal link. Thumbs up for that. And if you'd like to help me out without even sending money, there's an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food on it. And of course, I have a post office box where if you'd like to send me anything from postcards to keychains to whatever you would like, that would be very cool, and I will show on camera everything that I got. Yay! Front loading of videos over. Yesterday was a slow day. I didn't do much. I watched videos. I tried to play some games. I think I played some Block Story at one point, but there wasn't even a whole lot of that going on. I had some falling asleep issues, but I don't think I stopped breathing. I didn't have a headache, my ears weren't really ringing, my fingers and toes and feet and hands weren't tingling, so I must have stayed breathing. Thumbs up for that. And I actually slept well last night, for as well as I do. I mean, it was close to 1 o'clock before I got to sleep. It was before 5 o'clock that I woke up. No wonder I have falling asleep issues. I have never slept well. I cannot even remember a time aside from maybe when I was in high school when I have fallen asleep easily and been able to stay asleep. I have to wear earplugs, and even the earplugs don't make the world quiet enough. So, yay on that. But at least I'm surviving, and that's a very, very good thing. I still go on my walkies every single day. I walked up to Walmart and back last night, carrying stuff on my back. And my kitty cat, she's gotten more active than she was. She's eating more, and that last week and some, she wouldn't eat even a thing. I would put out food and she wouldn't even eat it. Now she's licking up at least the juice and having the smaller pieces of whatever meat stuff there is. She's turning her nose up entirely at anything fish-based, so I'm having to use other stuff. Hopefully she's going to be okay. She's really thin, and you can feel her hips and stuff. They're right under the skin. Which is unfortunately something that happens as you get older. There are something on the ends of your DNA called telomeres. Every time your DNA replicates, those telomeres get cut in half. And when there's no more telomeres on your DNA, your cells stop dividing. That's one of the reasons that older people are generally so much thinner. Their skin cells and body cells and bone cells, every cell in their body, a lot of them just don't divide anymore or have died. You have such thin skin because most of your skin cells are dead. You're so thin with your muscles because most of your muscle cells are dead. So that's all you got left, literally. It doesn't matter if you pack on, eat an incredible amount, which can be dangerous. You're never going to be able to put on extra weight. Your cells simply can't divide anymore. Thumbs up for that. But on non-depressing stuff, I don't really have anything to talk about in life except for a couple things that I have watched on YouTube. One of them is another about YouTube thing, where there's a low-tier, high-profile person, Jordan, gosh darn it, Jordan, because there's a joke that they call him Jardon in his subreddit instead of Jordan. So I keep getting that mixed up periodically because of my brain. But he's got at least 1 million viewers. He's been online for 12 years. With his YouTube channel, he has had viral videos and stuff in the past. He's not a small person, but even he's talking about the change in YouTube. And so many others are talking about the change in YouTube. One of the big issues, of course, with the change in YouTube is getting the people to watch, getting that snag. If you want to start off in YouTube, you're going to be competing against companies with millions of dollars. And if you have just a webcam and you're like me, you can't compete against, say, anybody with any money. You're simply not going to be able to. I watch a lot of niche people because bigger companies and stuff like that turn me off. But I am a neurotypical. I am not like a lot of people in a lot of fashions. So I do watch the smaller things that won't ever be big because that's the sort of thing that I like. But also it's just you get the companies that can make not just one channel but 10 channels, and on each channel they're churning out content. Now, I'm not complaining myself. I mean, I've already come to terms with the fact that, I'm never going to be big online. But it's just kind of disconcerting to see the people that you are going, wow, this guy's big. And no, they're struggling just as much because the big companies are making it harder for anybody else. Life is life, though. Oh well. I mean, again, there's no great call for my material. I'm doing this primarily for up here in my mental health. Plus, I'm honest when I say in my Patreon thing, I would be hosed if I didn't have an online presence and people helping me. So thank you so very, very much. The other thing I want to talk about is something that it's another one of these kind of TMI things, even though I talk about it a lot, and I've even talked about it, I talk about it in my videos where I'm doing Let's Plays. I've talked about before how I'm into soft Vore. I enjoy soft Vore. People being swallowed whole and then digested alive. That's my little kink. I was just doing some idle scrolling isn't the word, but just looking through YouTube just for weird stuff, and I found a Skyrim Vore channel where they use scripting and stuff to make your characters able to swallow other characters. But it's not done in a way that you don't see anything. It says your character runs up and then there's kind of a swallowing sound, the character vanishes, and then suddenly your player character has got a great big old belly. Huh. I watched a couple videos of that because it was goofy as heck. But the one that I actually thought was kind of interesting was one where they'd made an actual real story in Skyrim, where this person is hiring out their horse, and to get and travel on this horse, you don't get on its back. No, it swallows you. And so it's a big fat horse running through Skyrim that the guy making the guy, gal, whoever, making the channel is controlling. And of course, as the story, the owner of the channel is saying, now horse, you get that person to white run safely and don't digest them like you did the other 50 people. And so of course the horse digests the person they swallow. So Thumbs up for that. That's actually one of the reasons I make death and people being eaten in my setting so violent and horrible. I don't like pain. I don't like blood. I don't like chewing. I don't like people being torn apart. So to keep it from becoming just a stupid setting where I'm just playing around with fantasy stuff that will please nobody, I make sure that it's a much more realistic form of people being eaten that I don't like. I actively hate the stuff that I make happen in my world to make it much more realistic. There's only like snakes are gonna swallow anything whole. And fish. Everything else you bite and chew, and there's blood, and there's tearing, and screaming, and pain, and agony, and oh my God. So I make sure to stress the actual horrible parts of being eaten, because it's not a good thing. Ugh. But that being stated, I have been thinking about some other things on my cryptid setting. Like with the character Polly, I have mentioned how one of the reasons that she wants what humans have is humans being able to make friends that will last sometimes decades. And she had her first best friend eaten alive in front of her when she was 12. She, being one of the newer generations of cryptids, has sort of a looking more toward the future sort of thing, and looking toward others. I've mentioned that this generation is more socially aware amongst other cryptids. The light, dark, and shadowed cryptids are trying to reach out across the aisles so much more than being separated in the past. Watching all of the stuff that's going on in the human world is affecting the cryptid world in this fashion. So they are trying to be much more socially aware amongst each other. Now, if I can remember here what I was saying, yes. When she had her best friend eaten, just chewed apart and devoured in front of her when she was 12, that affected her a lot. I mean, that is something that you would think would affect you, cryptid or human. And yeah, that would. But she is of the new generation where her mother, Clausy, would not have ever had any problems. She would have been that person that came up and ate the 12-year-old and then wandered off and then had no issues with doing it. But her generation also is unable to really think of future consequences and others in that fashion. She really wants to eat Jimmy, Polly's boyfriend. She can't think past the consequences of get him in her belly. She wants to chew him up and eat him. It doesn't matter that would really hurt Polly. That's something that you deal with later. Right now, it's the immediate gratification. Polly doesn't think that way. She made a pact to herself that after seeing her friend being eaten in front of her, she wouldn't do that. The problem is, with life and the way cryptids are, she is haunted right now. Something that actually makes it hard to sleep sometimes, wakes her up from nightmares, and gets her awake early, just can't go to sleep anymore. Because 4 years after she vowed that she would never do that again, never do that because it had happened to her and it traumatized her, she was on autopilot and found herself, when she stopped thinking about what she was thinking, she had the half-eaten body of a child in her hands and the rest of it in her stomach. And there was a child about as old as she was cowering in terror on the other side of a bench. And she realized that I've just done to somebody else what I vowed I would never do because it was so horrible to me. And what haunts her is, how did that happen? In 4 years, how did she completely forget that? How could she forget it so completely? When she can't go to sleep and all that she can think of is that scenario. When she's looking at that cowering child, she's looking at herself. When she wakes up screaming from nightmares, it's because she's looking at herself on the bench as she's eating this kid. She wakes up and can't sleep anymore because she's traumatized herself in all of this. It's something she's going to obviously have to work on, because that's a trauma that's going to really cause issues if you don't. But yeah, her generation is largely the first. That's one of the stability and security issues that this generation of cryptids want. Human beings generally don't have to worry about acting like a kid and letting your guard down and that having to be a fatal error because something eats you. They don't want to be traumatized. They don't want that to be normal. So that's what they are working on as that generation. Unfortunately, this is not something that they are ready to extend to human beings, the people that they are learning this from, even though this is being pushed upon them extrinsically. They are warped and distorted reflections, funhouse mirror reflections of us, our best, our worst, our good, our bad, our hopes, our dreams, our fears, our hopes. So they don't have a choice. They change. And this is what's happening with them now. But Liz stated that it doesn't extend in the other direction. Polly's view on non-named human beings, because if you have a name and if you're a friend, you're a people. If you're an unnamed person, you're just a human being. And they will, if given a choice and they need to eat someone, they will opt to eat someone other than a named person. They're not a person, they're a named pet. Your favored cow amongst the herd of cattle. That one goat that you've got a name amongst the herd of goats. When you're hungry, you're generally not going to eat the named one first. Her view on people is still, if you're hungry, go eat someone. Don't worry about it. Just go eat someone. Just fill your belly with their meat. That's what they're for. Why wouldn't you? Which frustrates her about the older generations, because that's what people are for. Go eat someone. Please. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments on my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce his name, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count in American Sign Language, you've seen how so let me call on my Chrome. We have Jesse Koskinen, always good to see you in the comments. Adrian FNTES, thumbs up, and yeah, that's a heck of a name. Only he stands there. Caleb R, greatly appreciated. And Insignificant Nick, well, hopefully, smokily. I try to stay monetized as best I can. SAECHA, boy, thumbs up, and I don't have any abilities yet that I really know of in Ghost of Tsushima. I'm doing massive quests before I really gain abilities first. JAYY, it wasn't a bad day, and hopefully you're going to have a good day today as well. Kiko Splendito, thumbs up and thank you. The Horror Files, greatly appreciated, and thank you very, very much. Logo5, thumbs up, and yeah, Ben Shapiro and the other alt-right and right-wing clowns, they're morons. We have Adrian Bryan. Hey, it's nice to see you in the comments as well. Then we have Nightshade Magician, Fnord indeed. And there is Yami, thumbs up, and that's a good idea. Hopefully I'll make it to that age. Ben B, always good to see you in the comments. And yeah, I still have a primitive fear of creepy crawlies. So if I have something crawling on me, even a moth, that'll initially frighten me. So yeah, I don't want spiders crawling on me. Yay. And that is it. 13 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours to get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people. If only for a short time, and if only in text. but it is appreciated. Thumbs up and thank you very much. And of course, thank you so much if you've watched this far. Nobody's forcing you, and if you have, greatly appreciated. Definitely a thumbs up on that. So today is still a holiday in the United States, so I'm going to take it easy. I have plans to hopefully get more D100 dungeon done today. Hopefully, with all this printed pages and stuff that I have here for the game, you know, I have I can't flick it in the right direction. I have I have a lot of these pages here for the game. 300 and some odd pages I printed, so hopefully I'll be able to get that done. Hopefully you can get done the things that you want to get done. And if you can't, that's okay. That's okay. Survival mode is important. And of course, with diseases out there, please just be smart, be appropriate, take precautions. You don't need to get sick. You don't need to suffer lifelong complications from being sick. You don't need to risk throwing your body onto the end-of-life corpse pile before it's time. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.